Good morning. This is Caleb here with Indiana Weather Online, Indiana Weather Network. A very spring-like day out there across Indiana here this morning. We have a lot to talk about, so let's dive right in. We have a large system that will be moving in, bringing chances for rain, thunderstorms, and even a low-end severe weather risk overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. Here's a live look at satellite. You can see our low-pressure system now moving across the Kansas-Oklahoma area. This guy will be responsible for bringing our rain into the region overnight tonight and into Sunday morning across Indiana. Currently, heavy to moderate rain is falling across eastern Kansas and western Missouri. This rain will be working its way into the lower Great Lakes region, Indiana, Illinois, overnight tonight. Probably after 6 o'clock here tonight, we'll see some showers start to move in to Indiana. Some of these could be strong, perhaps. We'll get into that here in a little bit. Currently, surface temperatures not feeling like January across the region at all. A very spring like system, much similar to those systems that we see in March and early April. That is what we have on the table here today. Currently, surface temperatures are expected to rise near or above 60 degrees for a good majority of Indiana by later this afternoon. Currently, surface temperatures are in the 40s in northern Indiana and getting close to 60 degrees down by the Evansville area currently as of 11:50 a.m. Eastern Time. But we do expect those to rise later this afternoon and into overnight tonight. Temperatures tonight will not cool off at all. In fact, here we are at 8 p.m. here tonight. A little bit of cooling across northeast Indiana, but we're still in the 60s and 50s across two-thirds of Indiana. And here we are moving into the overnight hours. Here's midnight tonight. Mid 60s, southern Indiana. Upper 50s and 60s across central and northern Indiana by midnight tonight. And here we are at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. This is well after midnight. The entire state is near 60 degrees, if not upper 50s expected for the entire state, with even mid 60s down near the Evansville area, 63, 65 degrees at 3 in the morning. This is 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. We're very warm. And then temperatures begin to crash as we go throughout the day tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be one of those days where our high temperatures, your weather app may say 60 degrees is a high. Well, chances are that high temperature will be reached before 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Our cold front comes through throughout the day tomorrow, dropping temperatures from the 60s and into the 40s and 30s throughout the afternoon tomorrow before our second cold front moves in on Saturday, bringing additional rain showers and even some snow into Sunday across the region. Let's go ahead and time it out here for you. Let's go looking at our precipitation here. So here we are. This is 4 o'clock here this afternoon. Some light showers are possible as our warm front lifts north across our state earlier this afternoon. But then our attention turns to Illinois. Later this afternoon into this evening, this is 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Our cold front draped from Rockford, Illinois, over to east central Illinois, west central Illinois. You can see a line of showers and thunderstorms. There may not be a lot of lightning in this. This will mainly be probably just a line of broken showers, if I'm being honest with you. We probably won't see a lot of lightning with this, but we could have some embedded thunderstorms within this line. Our line begins to form here across northern Illinois, east central Illinois, moving into Indiana after 9 o'clock here this evening. This is 9 o'clock Eastern Time on the HRRR model here. This is one of the mathematical models, numerical models that we look at here. You can kind of see a narrow, broken line of showers and thunderstorms moving into Indiana. Some of these could have gusty winds. Gusty winds, primary risk with this 40 to 50 miles per hour, perhaps reaching severe criteria of 58 miles per hour. Can't be ruled out in some of the stronger storms, but widespread severe weather is not expected. We do have a marginal risk in place for portions of western and northwest Indiana, as well as central and eastern Illinois, issued by the Storm Prediction Center earlier today, indicating this line here as it moves into Indiana later this afternoon and this evening. Overnight tonight, this is 2 a.m., you can still see a broken segmented line of showers with embedded thunderstorms. By this point in the evening, better instability down here to our south. So the best chance of a stronger thunderstorm would be western Indiana and into southern Indiana later on tonight. Looking at our severe weather ingredients, well, here's a look at the SPC outlook here today first. You can see a marginal risk in dark green extending from Evansville, Indiana, all the way to South Bend, Indiana, including southern portions of extreme Berrien County, Michigan, also included in that marginal risk. This is a 1 out of 5 by the Storm Prediction Center, so it's a low-end risk. We're not really expecting a widespread severe weather event. We don't think we're going to see anything like what we saw a couple weeks ago on Sunday where we had a severe weather outbreak. We do have similar dynamics in place, but something we don't have is instability. We really don't have the instability here today. And here's a look at our severe weather ingredients to show that. We have a lot of wind shear. We have a lot of wind shear in place, more than enough to support severe weather overnight tonight and into tomorrow. We have a lot of lift, enough lift to also support thunderstorm activity across the region tonight, associated with a strong cold front that'll be moving through. And we also have a lot of moisture throughout the afternoon and into overnight tonight. You're going to feel the moisture increase. Our dew points are going to increase throughout the afternoon into tonight. It may even feel a little bit humid this evening across the state of Indiana as dew points get into the 50s and 60s, very spring like across Indiana. It'll smell like spring. It even smells like spring right now if you open your door and walk outside. But look at our instability. This is our fuel to really support severe weather. Notice how the X is all the way at the bottom on low. We don't have a lot of instability. We think just enough instability across western Indiana, eastern Illinois to marginally support a strong thunderstorm or two, maybe a severe thunderstorm at best. But notice how this X is way down here. Last Sunday, our X was in between the orange and the yellow. We had more instability to work with. And without instability, storms are not able to tap into these other ingredients. Think of them as being behind a locked door. Now, to unlock the door to allow these storms to tap into the wind shear and lift and other ingredients that we have in place, we need this instability to rise a little bit. And we just don't have that during this event. So that's really going to cap our event in keeping it a very low, isolated, strong to severe thunderstorm overnight tonight. Let's time it all out here for you. Areas in green, northwest Indiana. Before midnight, we think these storms could come in. You may see some rain well before the cold front arrives. Think 9 p.m., 8 p.m. Central Time, all the way through about midnight. We could have these storms start to influence northwest Indiana, getting into the Lafayette area, Terre Haute, southern Indiana, around that midnight 1 a.m. time frame. Give an hour to this. This cold front is a slower moving cold front compared to what we had last week, or a couple weeks ago, rather. So these storms will be moving a little bit slower compared to what they were during our last storm event. Exiting our state early tomorrow morning, Friday morning, temperatures will drop behind our cold front. So as this line moves through, 60s and 50s across eastern Indiana, and a little bit colder across western Indiana. We do expect this line to be broken and segmented in nature. This won't be a solid line moving across Indiana like we saw a couple weeks ago. This will be broken in nature. So some areas may see gusty winds, while other areas may see a few sprinkles and some light rain showers. That's really the name of the game here tonight. The best area for a strong thunderstorm in our timing map is this box outlined in black here, this hatch zone, Gary, Indiana, Lafayette, Terre Haute, Evansville, also correlates with the Storm Prediction Center. A little bit more instability to work with there, and we'll go ahead and look at that here on the HRRR, our latest model run here. We'll go back and look at our severe weather ingredients, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Here's our map of instability. This is called CAPE, Convective Availability of Potential Energy. That's fuel. How much fuel do we have to support thunderstorms and severe weather overnight here tonight? You can see throughout the day here today, daytime heating increases instability quite a bit across southern Illinois, northern Missouri. And this is sufficient to support a strong thunderstorm or two in this region here. But notice how we go into overnight tonight. Our instability kind of pools just along the cold front, but it's not a lot. We have a low amount of instability, and then it really just kind of falls apart. We lose a lot of instability overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning across areas of eastern Indiana. So really western Indiana, where we have the most instability, is where we're looking at the possibility of a stronger storm or two, limited to that probably 9 p.m. time frame through about 1 a.m. time frame here this evening as these storms exit Illinois and into Indiana. And this is something we're going to have to watch very closely. Any uptrend we have in instability will then correlate to perhaps more severe weather here tonight. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this right now, but we do expect instability to wane a little bit with eastward extent. We do expect that instability to go down with eastward extent, and that would limit our severe weather chances here this evening. So that's the big story tonight. More instability, more severe weather, less instability, no severe weather. It's kind of an all or nothing when you get these low end, high shear, low cape events in the wintertime events. It's hard to get instability up in this portion of the woods here in the Midwest and the lower Great Lakes region. It's just hard to get up here. We have that a lot in the springtime when we have daytime heating. We have a stronger sun angle to help destabilize the atmosphere, but in the wintertime, we're solely dependent on winds. The winds transport this moisture and instability northward, and it's just hard to get all the way up here into Indiana. Any questions you guys have, feel free to put them in chat here tonight as we go throughout this event here. Again, look at our ingredients here tonight. A lot of wind shear to support severe weather, but instability is on the low end, and we do expect that to really limit our overall potential here tonight for severe weather. A stronger storm or two can't be ruled out, especially with gusty winds. Think 50 to 60 miles per hour in isolated instances, but I think more commonly we're going to see 30 to 40 miles per hour in some of the stronger storms as well. And outside of severe weather, winds are going to be on the increase here this afternoon and into tomorrow. We can see strong southwest winds. These are gusts at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, 45 to 50 miles per hour across northern Indiana. And ahead of our cold front here this afternoon, we think some of the strongest winds will stay elevated. We don't think a lot of these 50-mile-per-hour gusts will mix down to the surface. We kind of have a boundary layer in place, a temperature inversion a little bit. That'll help kind of shield these strongest winds from coming all the way down to the ground. But gusts 30 to 45 miles per hour are possible here this afternoon. This is why we're allowed to warm up so much. In the summertime and springtime, we have that sun angle. The warm air is already in place. It doesn't take a lot of wind to really warm us up. But in the wintertime, our sun angle is low, and really the only way we warm up above 50 degrees in the wintertime is by strong southerly winds advecting that warm air up north into the Indiana and Midwest area. And that's what we have here today. Strong southwest winds, 20 to 30 miles per hour, gusting to 45 to perhaps 50 miles per hour overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. So very strong winds moving into the region. And then tomorrow morning, we could have a brief period as our low pressure system itself moves across Michigan and Indiana. We could have southwest winds gusting to 50 miles per hour tomorrow morning as well, between the 7 a.m. and noontime hours. And then our winds decrease dramatically going into overnight tomorrow night as well, as our temperatures drop, and we could see some snow move into the region tomorrow night as well. So not a big event in terms of severe weather, mainly a line of showers, really, and maybe some embedded thunderstorms. And then we could have some snow moving in after that Sunday night, Saturday night into Sunday. We'll go ahead and show you that here. So here we are. Here's our storms moving into Indiana overnight tonight. Just kind of a broken line of showers with embedded thunderstorms. And then here's our next system. This is system number 2. So we have 2 low pressure systems moving into Indiana. First one moving in tonight into tomorrow. Second one moving in Saturday night into Sunday. But notice what we have here on this map that we didn't have tonight. We have snow. We have some cold air with this system. Our low pressure center really getting tight up in here over the Michigan area. And this will be bringing in our secondary cold front, our Arctic cold front. But then going into the day on Sunday, this is Sunday morning, Saturday night, we could have some light snow across Indiana and even some snow squalls and lake effect snow moving in by Sunday afternoon. So minor accumulations are possible across the state, maybe a trace to about an inch for most, with maybe 1 to 2, maybe 1 to 3 inches across northern Indiana along the I-80 corridor with associated lake effect snow bands as well. So we're going to go from spring back to winter in about 48 hours here this evening and into the weekend. So with that being said, any other questions you guys have here before we hop off? Go ahead and time it out one more time for you here this evening with system number 1. Rain and thunderstorms moving into Indiana overnight tonight. Here's 5 o'clock, 6 p.m. time frame. Some light showers could be across central and northern Indiana. And then here comes our cold front moving in around 8, 9 o'clock. We could have some thunderstorms starting to move in later this afternoon and this evening. Primarily after 10 p.m. is when these will move in. There may not be a lot of lightning with these. These are going to be really shallow. It's going to be a really skinny band of broken showers and embedded thunderstorms with this. Gusty winds is the primary threat here tonight. The tornado risk is very, very low. The primary risk is damaging winds 40 to 50 miles per hour with that isolated 60 mile per hour gust possible. Now, we can't entirely, I guess, rule out a brief spin up tornado, but a lot of that will depend on instability. Right now, instability looks to be really too low to support tornadoes in Indiana. But if we do see an uptick in that, we'll have to watch that pretty closely, as we do have a lot of wind shear in Indiana here this evening, but we do think the tornado risk is quite low in Indiana. Gusty winds 40 to 50 miles per hour is the primary hazard here this evening, and not everybody's going to see that either. This will be a broken line, meaning some of you may get heavy rain and wind, while others a few miles up the road may not. So as this cold front moves through, keep that in mind as well. And gusty winds ahead of this front, non-thunderstorm related, out of the south-southwest, 35 to 45 mile per hour gusts possible here this afternoon and into overnight tonight. So that's a really, what we're looking at here, a low-end severe weather risk here tonight. Here's a look at the SPC outlook here for Indiana. A marginal risk, 1 out of 5. This is a low-end event for Indiana. We're not expecting widespread severe weather here tonight. Areas in dark green are in that 1 out of 5 risk here tonight. Areas in light green or general thunderstorm could have some embedded rumbles of thunder, but I don't think a lot of us will see lightning here tonight because of our limited on instability. More instability, more lightning and thunderstorms, less instability, less thunderstorms, and less lightning here tonight. And notice how that marginal risk ends in central Indiana, eastern Indiana, northwest Ohio, and all of Ohio, and even Michigan do not have a marginal risk because of that lack of instability. Our instability is really going to be centralized across Illinois and western Indiana, is where we have the most instability. And when I say most, it's marginal at best. Just enough instability to support thunderstorms and maybe a strong storm or two across west central Indiana and western Indiana overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning across Indiana. Yeah, we can go over timing one more time, Destiny. Absolutely. So here's a look at our ingredients again. We do have wind shear, lift. We have all the ingredients in place to support severe weather except fuel. We just don't have instability, and that's often the case here in Indiana, especially in the cold months. It's really hard to get instability up this far north. Now, if we were to see this X move up a little bit, we'll increase our wording a little bit, but right now we don't see that happening. We think instability will remain low enough to keep severe weather at bay here tonight for most of us. A locally strong to severe thunderstorm can't be ruled out though, especially across the Illinois-Indiana line into western Indiana. Damaging winds, primary risk 40 to 50 miles per hour. But if we were to see a little bit more instability, now we can't rule out a tornado, but we do think that's very low and unlikely at this point in time. Going back into timing, here's our timing graphic here tonight. Starting in western Indiana before midnight, in areas in green, around midnight, give or take an hour. This is a slower moving cold front than what we had a couple weeks ago. A couple weeks ago was moving very fast. This is a slower moving cold front, so it's going to take its time to move across Indiana here this evening. Areas in yellow around midnight Eastern Standard Time. 2 a.m. for areas in purple, and 4 to 5 a.m. time frame for areas in pink, and then exiting Indiana around that 5 to 7 a.m. time frame in areas in blue. So it is a slower moving cold front. Best chances for a strong to severe thunderstorm are in this black outline here, western Indiana. Think Lafayette, Terre Haute, Evansville. A lot chances dwindle dramatically with eastern extent because we run out of fuel, we run out of instability. So you may not have any lightning or thunder at all in central and eastern Indiana because of that lack of instability. You'll probably just have a line of broken showers by this point with some gusty winds, perhaps. We do have a lot of wind shear aloft, so these storms will be capable of bringing down some gusty winds. Even if we don't have lightning in them, a few of them could bring down some gusty winds of 40 to 50 miles per hour across Indiana here this evening. And then looking into Sunday, behind the system, our second cold front moves through Saturday night into Sunday. Snow returns to the forecast. Winter is coming back next week. We're going to see an influence of cold air moving down out of Canada, moving into the region. It could bring some scattered snow showers and even some light accumulations across Indiana. Higher accumulations up here into southwest Michigan, northern Indiana, closer to that lake effect snow event. Could have maybe 1 to 2 inches up in here in this dark blue area, and a dusting to a trace for areas in light blue, and some snow squalls can't be ruled out, and some heavier showers behind this low. As our area of low pressure moves through, it's going to pull down some colder air out of Canada, and we could have some snow squalls within this on the south side of the low as well, moving into Indiana and especially Ohio, more favored for snow squalls on Sunday as well. So something we're going to have to watch. Could have some reduced visibility at times across Indiana, as well as some gusty winds and some cold wind chills as well. Wind chills could be in the 10s to perhaps single digits Sunday morning across northern Indiana, northwest Ohio, as well as Illinois and Michigan. So something to keep an eye on as well. Temperatures are going to get very cold. We could see a 20 to 35 plus degree drop between today and Sunday. Most areas seeing 30 to 40 degrees at times as well, dropping from the 60s back into the 20s across Indiana. So winter is not over yet. So Friday is going to be one of those days. We'll go ahead and time out temperatures here for you before we hop off here. But Friday is going to be one of those days where we're going to cool off as the day goes on. Your weather app may say 60 degrees on Sunday, or Friday rather, but that's going to be a morning high. Our temperatures are going to warm up overnight tonight and into tomorrow. Here we are at 3 a.m. tonight. We're in the 60s across the majority of Indiana, upper 50s, northeast Indiana. We're very warm tonight as our southwest flow increases. We have a really strong winds about a kilometer above our heads, and that's going to bring this warm, moist. It's going to feel humid tonight across Indiana. It's going to smell like spring and feel like spring. This is an April-like system moving into Indiana with our temperatures here. So here's our high temperatures tomorrow. This is 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. A lot of your weather apps may say 62, 61, 58 for anywhere in the state of Indiana. This is our high temperatures at this point, 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Here we are at 7 o'clock. Our cold front is moving into Indiana. Temperatures already dropping in northwest Indiana, still hanging out in the 50s and 60s across eastern and central Indiana. Here we are at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're in the 40s in northwest Indiana, still hanging around to the upper 50s and perhaps low 60s in eastern Indiana. But by 10, 11 o'clock, the entire state will be in the 40s and low 50s by tomorrow, by lunchtime tomorrow. So our high temperatures for tomorrow will unfortunately be reached overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. But for the majority of the day, we're going to be hanging out in the 40s and across the state of Indiana and getting into the 30s by tomorrow night. Now, we do have a secondary system moving in, and that's going to keep temperatures from bottoming out tomorrow. We have what we call a stationary boundary across north central Illinois into northern Indiana that our secondary low is going to move up on. So that'll keep temperatures mild across southern Indiana. But then as we move into, here's our cold front moving into Saturday into Sunday, and that's going to bring much colder temperatures into the state of Indiana. Here's our secondary cold front, and here we are by Sunday afternoon. We're in the 20s across Indiana with wind chills into the teens and perhaps getting into the single digits at times as well. Here we are Sunday morning at 5 a.m., 4 degrees, northern Illinois, Iowa, and some of those single digits could get into northwest Indiana as well, 7 a.m. Sunday morning. So recap on severe weather here. Go ahead and turn on our forecast model again here just to show you what we're looking at here tonight. Not a big severe weather event for Indiana. We're not forecasting widespread severe weather like we had a couple weeks ago, and that's largely because we don't have the instability this time. A couple weeks ago on Sunday, December 28th, we had an instability uptrend, which is something we're going to have to keep an eye on to make sure that instability doesn't build more than forecasted, as that would in turn create a larger severe weather event, larger in quotes. But right now, we don't see that happening at this point in time. So here we are. This is 8 p.m. here tonight. You can see a line. Let me go back to this model here. Heavy rain and thunderstorms across northern Illinois, central Illinois, but notice how it's broken. It's segmented. It's not conjoined into one solid line. It's broken. It's disorganized. And that's because we have a limit on instability. Instability is our limiting factor. We could have some heavy rain, though, especially across northwest Indiana. Most places in Indiana will see between 1/4 of an inch and 3/4 of an inch of rainfall by the time this event is over. Areas in northwest Indiana could see an inch or more of rainfall, especially Lake, Porter, and LaGrange counties. That neck of the woods up there, this whole area along the I-80 corridor, South Bend, over to Lake County, could see an inch or more of rainfall just because we could just see some more rain moving in. The cold front moves in around midnight here tonight. There's our broken line of showers and perhaps thunderstorms. Now, because we don't have a lot of instability, we're probably not going to have a lot of lightning associated with these. This will more or less just be a broken line of showers along our cold front. And this is midnight here tonight, overnight tonight. Here we are at 2 a.m., broken line of showers, perhaps thunderstorms moving into the South Bend area, Kokomo, Indianapolis, getting close to you, and Evansville by about the 2 to 3 a.m. time frame. And our cold front exiting Indiana by around 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. The best chances for severe weather between 8 p.m. in Illinois, they're about 2 a.m. here in Indiana. Really limited to western Indiana and Illinois, where our instability is. And where our instability is, I'll go ahead and show you that here on our graph. Here we go. Most of our instability is going to be situated across Illinois and western Indiana. Look how we go with eastward extent here. You can see how it just falls apart. We just don't have the instability that we have here across central and southern Illinois, western Indiana. And it even starts to wane quite a bit as it enters Indiana itself. Most of the instability will be in Illinois, and a lot of that has to do with late timing. Our storm system isn't moving in until the sun has already set. We're losing our daytime heating if we get clearing in Illinois, but it's also really hard to get instability at night in the wintertime. And that really shows here as instability wanes moving into tomorrow morning in Indiana. So, best chances for a strong, isolated severe thunderstorm, Western Indiana, where we have most of our instability here, and which isn't a lot of instability, but it's just enough to where the Storm Prediction Center went ahead and put a marginal risk in place for an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm for that chance of an isolated severe thunderstorm wind gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour can't be ruled out. Most will see probably the 30 to 45 range here tonight. I don't think most will reach severe criteria, but a few isolated storms could reach 58 or greater miles per hour, that 58, 60 mile per hour range overnight tonight, and a few stronger storms. The tornado risk is very low here tonight, but we do have a lot of wind shear. So if we see any increase in instability, a very brief spin up can't be entirely ruled out. But we do think that's on the very low end of things, especially with our instability trends the way they are. Our instability will put a limiting factor on our severe weather tonight and should keep things at bay. We're not expecting anything like what we saw a couple weeks ago on Sunday, where we saw an outbreak of severe weather. That was a similar setup, but we had more instability. Tonight, we look to be on the low ends of things, and that should be good news for most of us here. That should keep storms at bay for the majority of Indiana here tonight. Going back on our timing map here, we'll go over this one more time here before we get out. Storms entering Indiana. Probably see some rain and thunderstorms moving in before midnight across northwest Indiana. Really anytime after 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern for northern Indiana, seeing some showers and thunderstorms moving in. But the cold front will move in likely before midnight in areas in green, and then exiting Indiana by early tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. time frame. Again, high temperatures tomorrow are going to drop throughout the day. Most of the day tomorrow will be hanging out into the 40s and 50s by tomorrow afternoon. Our morning highs will be in the 60s across Indiana, but our high temperatures will be reached at 5 a.m. tomorrow before things start to cool off as our cold front moves across the state. And then looking into the rest of the weekend, a secondary cold front moves in on Saturday night into Sunday, bringing in some snow showers across Indiana. Light accumulations, northern Indiana, possible 1 to 2 inches or so, where heavier lake effect bands do set up. But a dusting to a trace is possible across a good majority of Indiana, so we could have some snow associated with the backside of this low that could bring in some light snow showers across Indiana. Evansville could have a few flurries, but we think most of the snow showers will be across central and northern Indiana, moving into Saturday night into Sunday. So we'll keep you posted here. We'll continue to watch trends here across Indiana as our weather system. Here's a current look at it here. Low pressure moving over Kansas, moderate to heavy rainfall moving into eastern Kansas, Missouri areas. This weather system will be moving into Indiana later tonight. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll post updates as necessary. And if we do need to go live tonight, we'll be monitoring radar here behind the scenes, and we'll go live as necessary. And we'll continue to monitor trends behind the scenes. So stick it here to Indiana Weather Network, Indiana Weather Online. We'll keep you covered here all night long. Take care.